As Australia has fallen back on struggling opener Joe Burns and has been forced to promote middle-order batsman Matthew Wade to partner him, Australia's batting woes at the top of the order are being exposed following injuries to David Warner and Will Pucovski. Since Chris Rogers' retirement in 2015, Australia has cycled through 8 different opening batsmen to partner David Warner. Though there have been glimmers of hope along the way, Australia has failed to nail down a consistent opening pair in the 5 years since Chris Rogers' retirement, which poses the question of who should be given the spot to open with David Warner going into the future. Perhaps one of the most unpopular Australian cricketers to play the game, Shaun Marsh is knocking on the door of Test selection yet again following an incredible start to the Shield season this year, as he has smashed 485 runs and an average of just over 97. This run of form prompted former Australian captain Alan Border to say Shaun Marsh could have the experience Australia needs at the moment at the top of the order. Despite having the WA fanboy himself Justin Langer as head coach of Australia, the 37-year-old will be unlikely to return as he has had his time in the side and has never made the most of his opportunities across his 38-match Test career. Marsh tends to have a bit of an annoying pattern in form, often overperforming in first-class cricket prior to his return, helping him secure a place in the Test side before failing miserably once everyone puts hope in him yet again. One obvious case of this would be his 2011 season, where he scored a century on debut in Johannesburg for Australia against South Africa, before returning for a home series from hell for the left-hander, where he scored just 17 runs across 6 innings and an average of 2.83 against India. Given this record of inconsistency, I don't think Marsh is in the framework for Australia's future plans anytime soon. Joe Burns is Australia's current choice to partner David Warner, but he is really struggling to cement his spot in the side as he fails to consistently perform in his role. Burns seems to have at least earned his spot at the top of the order for the short term after working his way to 51 not out in the second innings of the most recent match against India in Adelaide, in what was a high-pressure circumstance for the Queenslander. This knock came at a crucial point in Burns' career after a shaky start to the Sheffield Shield season and a poor recent run of form in the baggy green, where he notched up only 69 runs from his first 9 knocks in first-class cricket this season and averages only a tad over 29 for Australia in the time since the Ashes in 2019. This is why questions still remain over the Queenslander, as he has yet to prove he consistently see off the new ball and perform in high-pressure circumstances. It is important to remember though that Burns has performed well at times in the past for Australia previous to this poor run of form. He averages a little bit over 38 with a couple of centuries alongside his name. The next 3 Test matches will determine the fate of the right-hander, as many are calling for the opener to try his hand back in the Shield before coming back to the Test side. Matthew Renshaw appears as the choice of the future. At only 24 years of age and an international Test century next to his name, Renshaw seems to be the obvious choice to partner Warner in the long term, and this has been proven when Renshaw was given his opportunity in 2016. The chemistry between Warner and Renshaw is fantastic, as while Renshaw slowly works away and occupies the new ball, Warner has the freedom to play his natural game and hit big. But since his breakthrough season in 2016, Renshaw has failed to capture the form of his first few years of first-class cricket and was actually dropped last year from his Shield side back to grade cricket after failing to score a century for 2 years. But this season, he seems to be back after scoring an impressive 168 not out against South Australia, but he will be needing to do a lot more to put his hand back in contention for Test selection. Usman Khawaja has been largely forgotten about in recent times at international level, as he just never managed to cement his spot in the side with a consistent run of form. But Khawaja has suddenly thrown his hat back into contention thanks to some impressive batting in first-class cricket. Khawaja scored 131 and 46 not out in his most recent first-class match against South Australia, backing up what is already an impressive international record that has proven he is very capable to open the batting. In the 5 matches where Khawaja has opened the batting for Australia, he has scored 2 centuries at an average of over 96. He also briefly opened for Australia in the ODI series against India and Pakistan in the subcontinent, where he scored an additional 2 centuries and an average of 65.2 across 10 matches. Harris was dropped from the opening position for Burns after struggling in the 2019 Ashes series and the back end of last summer, as he scored only 83 runs across 8 innings and an average of 10.3 for Australia. But to be fair, all the openers trialled in the Ashes struggled, including Warner, so judging his selection prospects purely off that series may seem harsh. Harris had a strong start to his career early last year, scoring some solid knocks against India in Australia, and has impressed on his return to the Shield this season, scoring a double century for Victoria, but failed to capitalise on his return to Australia A. Harris is in a similar position to Joe Burns, as they both average under 40 in first-class cricket, but he remains next in line for the opener position after being added to the squad to face India. But even if he gets an opportunity, he will be needing to score big if he wants to keep himself in the eye of the selectors going into the future, due to already a string of missed opportunities in the baggy green. After looking set to debut in the first test match of the summer, Pucovski was hit in the head in a tour match against India, ruling him out of the series and casting a doubt over his future chances in the baggy green. Prior to this though, Pucovski was the obvious choice to partner Warner, averaging 54 in the Shield and showing sublime form at the start of the summer, hitting 2 double centuries for Victoria at only 22 years of age. If he recovers, Pucovski seems to be the obvious choice to fix Australia's batting woes. Now, Cameron Bancroft is an interesting situation, as whilst he poses one of the most strong Shield records in Australia for an opener, he, like many on this list, have failed to grab their opportunities at international level. After initially impressing on his debut with a fiery attitude and a boxy technique, Bancroft threw away his position in the side with the now infamous sandpaper saga in Cape Town, and has failed to score on his return in the Ashes and in the Shield. Serious pitfalls in his technique have been exposed since then, such as constantly being caught out at leg slip 4 times in a row last summer. This shows that the West Australian is in need of a serious run of form to even be considered in the frame of selection. Despite being one of the best short-form openers in the world and the captain of Australia's one-day international side, Finch has proven he is not test quality after a series of cheap and embarrassing dismissals in his limited opportunity at the top of the order in test matches. His Shield average and form is not strong enough to constitute him returning to the side anytime soon. As mentioned earlier, Matthew Wade is playing as the fill-in opener for David Warner, but is not suited to the position, as this is one of the first few times Wade has ever opened in first-class cricket. Wade was promoted to the top of the order in the first test against India off of the basis he was the best of the rest, as he has shown he is a valuable asset to the Australian team in the middle order since his return in 2019. Since this Ashes series, Wade has bolstered an okay average of 35, including scoring 2 crucial centuries in difficult conditions against the old enemy. He does show promise, but opening does not seem like the position Wade is most comfortable in. There still remains a number of openers who we have left out who still could be in contention to open the batting for Australia. Let us know in the comments who you think should open the batting, and subscribe to Stumped for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.